The recovery process is proving to be long and expensive, nearly 5 months after a tornado tore through Sullivan, Indiana. Politicians, aid organizations, and journalists flocked to the area in the days after the tornado. But as Sarah Whitmire reports, the attention has faded.
On the evening of March 31st, 200 families in Sullivan, Indiana were displaced by an EF3 tornado. In the immediate aftermath, locals united to help with cleanup efforts.
We're blessed that we're alive because, I mean, you can replace anything. You can't replace yourself. So very thankful for that and very thankful for all the volunteers.
Donations began pouring into the community in the form of money and goods. The Civic Center was transformed into a one-stop shop for anything those displaced by the storm might need, including food and clothing.
We have shopping carts, we have totes. They can take 2 items, they can take 1,500 items. As long as they get what they need and what they want, we're pushing people to take as much as they possibly can.
High schoolers were even allowed to take an excused absence to assist in distributing necessities or to clean up debris. All of these volunteers and donors make up what today is known as the Sullivan County Long-Term Tornado Recovery Coalition.
In the first 6 weeks after that, Indiana VOAD responded and helped our volunteers form this coalition. And the coalition response then has been to put the structure in place to really honor donor intent and a process to get the funds to those most in need.
The steering committee for the group, which helps guide the distribution of the Help Sullivan Recover Fund and other donations, meets monthly to make decisions on various assistive services the community needs. The committee also gauges how much need there is in the community. By looking at comparable storms in Indiana's history, the coalition estimates they'll need a total of $6 to $7 million for recovery efforts.
Our funding to date, though good, is at about $1 million. We know that to be more effective in helping what could be 100 open cases we have, we will need more funds, or we won't be able to help all the clients that have a need.
Another problem facing the coalition is volunteers. In the immediate wake of the storm, there were more people than the town could use. The mayor pleaded with people to stay home, but remember Sullivan over the next weeks and months when the damage would no longer be in the spotlight.
We appreciate the support, but this is long-term recovery, right? This can't be an emotional thing where everybody jumps on now. We are going to need your help today. We're going to need your help a week from now. We're going to need your help months from now. We're going to need your help years from now. So we're going to need a steady supply of resources.
Now, nearly 5 months since the tornado, the coalition has just 4 volunteer case managers to manage 195 cases.
You do get a rush of volunteers after a disaster. It's fresh on people's mind. They see it in the paper every day. That tends to fade, and that's normal human nature. That's not a knock on our community at all. But we need to kind of relight that fire. There's a lot more work to be done now that we've gotten 4 months out from the storm.
At the steering committee's first public meeting, one resident asked a question looming large over everyone's minds. When will those most in need see some of those relief dollars? Payonk says the rebuilding process could begin for high-priority residents as early as October.
That process requires us to do intake and really assessment of the many client cases that we have so that we can prioritize. And that's sometimes a hard word to hear, but it does mean we want the services to, as quickly as possible, get to the cases that need them the most.
As the coalition works to solve problems from the March tornado, they're also building processes that will allow them to more effectively help the community with future natural disasters.
We hope nothing ever happens again, but you always got to be prepared. If something would happen again, you don't have to start the process of learning all over. You already have a system in place put together.
For Mayor Lamb, the recovery process was always going to need help in the long term.
It's just like a funeral, right? The family comes in and supports you during that first initial time of mourning, but you hear a lot of folks talk month 2, month 3, month 4, when it really starts to set in, and now you're starting to see it here.
Lamb will be leaving office at the end of this term. He wouldn't say how long he expects rebuilding efforts to take, but says the city will continue to advocate for those in need indefinitely.
I think it's just as long as it takes, and we're going to be here to continue to go through step by step with our citizens and make sure that we truly live by the city's motto that take time to care is not just a hashtag or a phrase.
With Clayton Baumgarth, I'm Sarah Whitmire for Indiana News Desk.